So I recently picked up Mario Tennis for the N64. I saw it on eBay, complete in box for a really good deal, so I said screw it and jumped at it. And now I own every game that I originally had for the system growing up, so hell yeah! But the other reason why I decided to pick it up again is because I was curious to see how well it held up. I mean, if you've been up to date with me for a bit, I've held the sequel in pretty high regard. Even at the time of making this, Power Tennis is still the best in the series in my opinion. And for the longest time, I felt there wasn't much of a reason to come back to the N64 version. This was based purely on what I could remember about the game, but it only makes sense to feel that Power Tennis was all you needed, right? For a gameplay perspective, yeah, it's got Mario Tennis N64 beat, without a doubt in terms of variety like mini-games, special courts, and gimmicks. But after replaying it and getting everything done on it, like all the trophies with all the characters and seeing how it runs, yes, I am that fucking insane when I want to be. It amazed me how much this game still holds up. I figured it'd be a little bit more clunky, not as polished in terms of gameplay, but not really. It's pretty much on par with its sequel. Now I can kind of see why some say this is the best game in the series. I don't think I'll ever agree with that, but it was a nice surprise to see that everything ran great without any hitches. Well, that I could see anyway. But you know what else was a pretty big surprise? Some of these characters and how they acted back then. Oh, the land of Mario and friends were a pretty interesting time back in 2000. Remember if Luigi lost, he'd spaz out in a crying temper tantrum? Or hell, remember when he was a bit of a smug asshole? Or when the beef between Luigi and Waluigi was a lot more tense? Like, look at that opening here! These two are ready to beat the shit out of each other. You just don't see that with them anymore outside of Smash Bros. At best, it's just a comedic rivalry when they do acknowledge it. But shit, remember when Waluigi was supposed to be intimidating? Remember when Donkey Kong Jr. was still a thing? Or when Birdo actually spoke English? Or do you remember when Daisy was an annoying motherfucker who didn't know what else to say other than, "Hi, I'm Daisy," instead of, you know, she was actually kind of pleasant and I dare say, a cute character? Yeah, we've come a long way in the past 18 years. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, why the hell are you talking about this instead of actual gameplay? Well, the answer's obvious. I've done Power Tennis in another mini-review and my thoughts on this game are about the same, just I couldn't talk about mini-games or shit like that, so by default, it's a bit of a lesser experience. But for me, the reason why I wanted to talk about this one was mainly because this game feels like a time capsule that shows just how different it was back then. I guess I find it kinda cool to compare, even on the opposite side of things, like take Wario for example. That is modern day Wario to a T, and it's kinda cool to see that I got him right even back then. I don't know how to fully explain why this aspect of Mario Tennis excites me so much, but it does for whatever reason. Is it a forgotten nostalgia? Definitely. But I also think it's the energy and personality Camelot brought to the table, on top of seeing these characters act in such a way that I completely forgot about. To me, that's what hooked me and made me feel like I was 10 years old again. It was such a cool experience for me, which I know for some who watches are gonna be like, what they fucking do? Who gives a shit? And you know what? Newcomers may be put off on the semi-formed personalities this game had. But I give Camelot a lot of credit for giving these characters some life to them when even by 2000, it still wasn't a common thing yet, or at least to this level. Mario Tennis might not be the best version to play anymore, but in terms of getting a bit of history on the development of these characters, that alone is worth the price of admission in my opinion.